Hello. So today I want to review a book that is about healing, but it's a different type of healing than emotional and spiritual healing. This book is called The Cure of All Diseases by, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but it's Hulda Redger Clark. And is this lady that has a PhD in naturopathic medicine. So just a little bit of a backstory. I found this book a few years ago, and I was going through a lot of stress in my life. First, I was experiencing a lot of stress at work, like a lot of stress, and also at home. And I was feeling like that for like a few months. I'd say like 4 months, under like a lot of stress. I was so stressed, like I wasn't eating, and I was like having bloating and like digestion issues. A lot of it had to do with bloating. Like it felt like whatever I ate, like I would just get bloated. And then one day, around Thanksgiving, I think before Thanksgiving, I got really sick. So I was like vomiting, and I was like having diarrhea, and like I was in bed like for like a week. I didn't eat anything because anything I ate would like make me throw up, and it was insane. So I remember talking to my parents, and one of them or both of them said that maybe I had parasites. So I bought this solution. Hold on. I think I can get it because I have it here. 1 second. Okay. So I was really sick, and my parents were saying that I probably had parasites. So I'm from the Dominican Republic, and I grew up with my grandmother, who is Dominican, and she was, of course, like from a different time where the way that people dealt with health and stuff was quite different than now. And one of the things that I remember her doing to me is that every, like, I think twice a year or something like that, she would make me drink things, like natural things that would make me like get rid of parasites. I remember as a kid, like I thought that was really gross. And I didn't understand what that was and whatever. My parents are from a little bit of a different generation, so they didn't really repeat that. But then I remember like talking to my dad and him saying like, yeah, like, that's something that I remember, like, my mom, which is my grandmother, doing to me when I was little, and to like my brothers and sisters and whatever. So I researched a little bit about parasites, and then I found this girl that is, she has a blog, but now she's like an influencer. She has like a company and whatever. But I found this post of hers from a few years before about parasites, and how she had like severe acne in her back, like really bad, and how she kind of healed it by getting rid of her parasites. And she was talking about how like there is this solution that can get rid of your parasites. It's non-painful, it's really natural, it tastes really gross, and it's a naturopathic thing. And that this was and there was like there was different brands of it, but it's just pretty much like a combination of three things. It's like, I have it here. This is the one I bought from that time. It's a combination of green black walnut, wormwood, and something else. It's like those three things: green black walnut, wormwood, and clove. So it's like the concentration of those things, and how those things would just make you get rid of parasites. So I went to Amazon. I bought the thing. I think I also, I bought the thing. No. I didn't buy it on Amazon. I just went to Amazon to see the reviews. There was a lot of pictures of people showing their parasites in their poop, and that was disgusting. But if you ignore those pictures, there's like a lot of reviews and people say like about their experience and whatever. So I went to my nearby like health food store where they have like a lot of like naturopathic remedies and stuff like that. And I bought it and I took it, and there was parasites that I had. And yeah, and then I just got better really quickly. Like I'd say like in a day, I just got better. So I was really curious about like who invented this, like where does this come from and whatever. And in the blog of the girl, she was mentioning this lady that wrote this book about how like she found it from her book. And because I'm just nosy and like I don't know, I was just really interesting because I was like, well, this thing, you know, it was natural and like, you know, healed me pretty quick. And like I was just, you know, interesting in like just remember that like on my grandmother of like getting rid of parasites and like not necessarily like the tradition, but like the knowledge of like, yeah, you have to like, you know, cleanse your body of parasites twice a year or once a year for your health. And that like when you don't do that ever, your body can get sick in different ways. And the reason why people have different symptoms is because depending on the parasite that you have and the type of parasite, but also each body is different and reacts different to different things. You can have different symptoms. So yeah, so I bought the book and I was really curious. The name is quite funny. Like what? Like the cure of all diseases, girl. Like, but still, I was just really curious and I just wanted to know. So I read the whole book. Like this book, if you can see, like it's really thick. I think it has 600, yeah. It has 600 pages, and I read the 600 pages. It took me a long time to read, but it was really interesting, and I feel like I learned a lot. So pretty much, this lady is from I don't know when, the 50s? Yeah, she's from the 50s, and I think she was kind of known or famous back then. Because I was talking to my mother-in-law and she was like, oh yeah, like I know who she is and whatever. Like she was known back in the day and whatever. And I was just like, oh, interesting. And she is a lady. Well, I can read it from that because I'm not going to remember this stuff. But it's like she had a bachelor's in what? She studied biophysics and cell physiology. She also studied biology before that. Then she obtained a doctorate degree in physiology in 1958. Then after that, she was apparently doing research that was funded by the government. And then she left to start like privately consulting on a full-time basis, which also she talks about this in the book. And 6 years later, she discovered an electronic technique for scanning the human body. So this is what the book is about. It's about like she created this tool, machine, I don't know how to call it, she calls it the zapper. And it's like a machine that uses like electricity, but like on really low those like percentages, I don't know, like really, really little electricity, right? To test for like bacteria and parasites in someone's body, without like doing it like how we like normally do it, like in Western medicine, like with like a sample and stuff like that. Because oftentimes, and I know that from experience, that like the simple thing just doesn't work. I remember growing up and like being really, really sick, and I knew that I had something, and then like doing test after test after test, and like nothing would show like it was fine. So she developed this thing, and this zapper thing, she also used it to like kill the bacteria and the parasites, because pretty much like everything that is alive has like electricity in it. So by using something that has a really small electricity and knowing like the electricity that like a little bacteria, like a parasite has, she would use this zapper and just give it a little bit more, enough to kill it. And that's what she invented, like this machine that could kill parasites and bacteria in someone's body without hurting you. Because of course, the amount of electricity that is in the body of a parasite or bacteria is really small compared to the amount of electricity that the human body needs, like for you to get like shocked. Yeah, to get shocked, right? So it's not gonna hurt you, but it's gonna like hurt the bacteria and the parasites. So it's like really interesting. In the book, she explains how you can like build the zapper, because she had this like calling that she really wanted to help people in health, and that's why she was like doing this private consultation. And also in the book, she mentions about like countless of stories. Like she even has other books that is just about stories and testimonies of people that have different diseases and how she like help them heal with her machine and with other things. It's not just like with the machine, but like other things too. So it's really interesting. So she spent 40 years researching about parasites. Yeah, and that's like her main thing. And through her years of research, she discovered that there was like a connection between a specific type of parasite and pollution, right? Like, so we know, like, you know, like our world is like polluted with chemicals that are not bad. Of course, everything is a chemical, but there are chemicals that are synthetic, and there are other things that are natural that we can find in nature. So some of the chemicals that are synthetic and that are, you know, made man-made can have side effects for our bodies, and can be really toxic for our bodies. So in her research, she found how there was like a connection or a correlation between a certain type of parasite that many people would have when they had a certain type of disease, and a certain type of like pollutant that they had in their body or in a certain part of their body, which is like interesting. And she explains like very thoroughly like how she discovered that, and like all of like, it's like instead of like her just like giving you the information, like she kind of like takes you on the journey on like how she discovered all of that and how she tested for all of that, which is really cool. Like you know, I remember like being in college and like reading, you know, I had to do this research paper to graduate, and like I had to like do a lot of research and like read a lot of research papers and studies and stuff like that to do my homework. And I learned through that experience. I was working with this guy in my university who was like a research professor, but he also was like the head of research of a specific department of research in my school. So he did that for a living, and something that I learned from him, like this man is just genius, and I learned so much from him about research and stuff. And something that I learned from him is how the way that you do research is really important. So sometimes we like do like, oh, this study made in this place that is trustworthy and whatever, made by this person, showed that blank, 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 whatever, right? But if you sometimes look more into the way that they collected the data, you can see that sometimes there is like a lot of bias behind it, or there's like a little bit of manipulation for different reasons, like for like financial reasons, but also because humans are not perfect, right? Like it's impossible for a human to be 100% objective and like not biased about anything, because we're humans. So that's something that I learned. So it's really interesting to see this lady talk about like her research, but more like how she discovered it, and like the process of her researching all of this, you know, and like the curiosity and the passion that she has about this is really like inspiring and fascinating at the same time. So yeah, so in the book, most of the book, you know, she talks about like how everything started. She talks about how like how she discovered or started building the zapper. She talks about, as I said, the connection between parasites and pollution and all of that, the mycotoxins and the different types of toxins, and solvent pollution, metal pollution, physical toxins, chemical toxins, and it's really, you learn a lot. And then she starts talking about like everything that is a disease that you can think of. Like there's like a big section that is called pain from toe to head. So she talks about like literally from toe to head, like different parts where people have pain or they experience pain. And she talks about how like in her research, she found how like that type of pain in that part of the body is connected with those people always had a parasite, this type of parasite, and how people that had that also had this specific type of like toxin or pollutant or heavy metal in their body, and in what part of the body, and how to heal. So pretty much like the idea is that, so first, like she talks about this, like from like, the section that is very long, from pain from toe to head. And she explains for every single pain that you can think of, like it's insane. Then she has another section that is huge also, that is non-painful diseases. So those are diseases like people can have that are not painful, like diabetes, skin problems, and then different parts of the body, different types of skin problems, fever, I don't know how to say, glaucoma, like tooth decay or cavities, like it's seizures, sleep problems, yeast infections, like just, yeah. And then I don't know if this is the last section, but then there's another section about like age. So how to like, it's called like pushing back age. So how to like, make the body age slower, right? Like sometimes like people age too fast because the body is kind of deteriorating. Because the body is kind of deteriorating. So she talks about like how to help the body age like appropriately. Not that like we're not gonna age, but yeah, she talks about the C word, but it's like a small section because she has like another book about that. She talks about, HIV, AIDS, the cold. It's just so much information. Like, she also talks about like something that I think is fascinating. It's like body wisdom, and like, like why your body wants to eat certain foods, and like why you can become like low-key addicted to certain foods, like sugar, for example. And mold in foods, and like the fast food industry, and like why it's bad for you, but not like in the traditional way that is like, yeah, I know, but like things that I never heard before, like how like there is like mold in fast food, and how that mold like hurts your body. Like what? Like I didn't know that. And then she talks about like also the connection between the body and like tooth feelings, and the sometimes negative side effects that they can have in someone's body, and how that sometimes they're connected to certain diseases, which is also fascinating. Again, it's not a huge section because the book is not about that, but I also learned that like there's other dentists that are like holistic dentists, that they talk about the connection between tooth feelings and like the health or diseases in the body, or the side effects that they can have, and how sometimes the body can do a lot of healing, not always, but it can do like a lot of healing around like tooth decay, and like where does tooth decay comes from, and how it has to do a lot with like what you eat, and like the nutrition that you got when you were like young. It's like, whoa. Jesus, like, yeah, it's a lot. So there was something that I was gonna say, now I forgot. The book is fascinating. It's really interesting. I learned so much about disease, and about the importance of living as much as possible a life that is away from toxins as much as possible. Of course, because we live in a modern world, right? We cannot live like disconnected from society. I mean, you could if you want, but it's really hard to live without letting toxins get into our bodies. And our bodies are naturally designed to get rid of the toxins, right? Like, our bodies are amazing. And that's also something that I learned from this book, is like the magic of our bodies and how our bodies are so, like, just incredibly powerful. And like, I feel like the power of the body really shows in the ability of the body to heal. And this is what this book is about. So what happens is, like, because of the modern world, like, the amount of toxins that exist in our environment are way too much, like way too much, that our bodies just kind of cannot handle and detoxify at the speed that we're being like intoxicated every day. So by reducing the toxins that you're exposed to in your daily life, you are like helping your body so much. Like, there is toxins in the air, there's toxins in fabric, there's toxins in food, specifically like fast food and like junk food and stuff like that. There's so much toxins in the makeup that women use, like traditional makeup, and like beauty products. Oh my god, beauty products, and like clothing, and yeah, and like how like we're kind of like making it impossible for the body to heal itself, because we're like hurting it so much. But those toxins not just hurt our bodies, but they hurt the environment as well. So it's like this like cycle. So like that was fascinating for me, like to learn that about so much of that stuff, like with so much detail. And she also, like, everything that she talks about, she mentions like different examples of people, and how she helped them in her like private practice, to heal from different things and to detoxify their bodies. And something that also I was gonna say is that in some way the relationship between like the pollution and the toxins and the parasites is because nature naturally have parasites and we naturally have bacteria. The idea, like, we have good bacteria and bad bacteria, even though like I also learned like it's not anyway. But let's say like we have bacteria in our bodies, and there's parasites in the environment, and like everything is necessary, because if it wasn't necessary it wouldn't be there. What happens is that because of the pollution and the toxins that our bodies are kind of like intoxicated with and clogged up with, then the parasites come because there's like some sort of like of imbalance in like let's say call it like the ecosystem of the body. So when you get rid of the toxins, the parasites just they just go away. So something, for example, is like when I was taking this to like get rid of the parasites that I had, I started having like this detoxification side effects. So it's like the parasites are dying, and then when they die, you get like this, it depends on the type of parasites that you have, it depends how much parasites you had, and it depends on your body. Some people, they don't have a lot of parasites, or their bodies is, I don't know, like immune or something, and they don't have as much. But the side effects, it's not side effects, it's like detoxification symptoms, are like you can get like a headache, you can get a fever, some people can throw up, some people can like have diarrhea and whatever, but it doesn't last for a long time. So that's why like the dosage of it, you need to be like careful and adjust it to what the body can handle. So the first time I took like the normal dosage, and it was too much, it was too much, like I could feel it. I just felt like I was like shivering, it was really bad. So then I reduced it really small, and then I increased the amount. And then I still had those weird side effects, like the symptoms, but they were doable. So yeah, so that's something that I learned from this book. It was really fascinating. Now, plot twist. Once I learned about German new medicine, you can Google that, like just that, German new medicine. That is a whole nother topic, and like I don't know enough to talk about it. But once I learned about German new medicine, this just became kind of like cute, like but I still think like it was really fun and like really important for me to learn, just because like I just like learning, and like I like to see different perspectives of stuff, and like yeah, I'm just a curious cat. Like I'm just curious and stuff like that. However, German new medicine just kicked this, like just like it was just mind-blowing to me. So if you're interested about like health and a different perspective of health, and you're open to it, I'd suggest you look into German new medicine. And it is fascinating. Maybe I'll make a video about it, because this is already very long. I don't know, but I just feel like I don't know enough. But like, yeah, maybe the next video, I don't know. So yeah, yeah, I think that's it. It was a really interesting book. I really liked it. I learned a lot. It made me change also my lifestyle a lot about, trying to live a more toxin-free lifestyle as much as possible. Of course, we're never going to be perfect, but as much as possible. And be more conscious and aware of how I can hurt Earth, and like how I can hurt my body by just making choices or using products or using things that are not necessarily the best for my body or Earth, and how important that is. And how like we need to like live in alignment with our bodies and what is healthy for our bodies, but also what is with alignment with Earth, because Mama Earth is our home, and we just have one planet, and that's really important. So yeah, so I think that's it. Thank you for listening, and have a good day. Bye.